Time trials in Mariokart World are tests of skill and knowledge about the game's tracks and mechanics. Sometimes these can get pretty difficult, so today I'll be showing you how to beat every time trial in the game without having to do any insane shortcuts. You can choose your own cart and character, but I'm going to be using Bowser with the baby blooper because I like its handling and speed. Also keep in mind, these are not the world record level paths with the best possible shortcuts, but rather easier versions that can help even beginners beat the time trials. Without further ado, let's begin. So we're going to start off with Airship Fortress. It's mildly difficult. We're going to start off by driving to the left and getting on this rail, and we're going to keep tricking until we reach the corner. Okay, and I trick to the right to get onto that rail, and then I jump before I reach the top of that chain so I don't spend too much time in the air. Then I jump off of that rail, and then I turn really tight, trick off of that, grab the coins, and then choose whichever side of the rail prevents you from getting hit by the lava. And as I enter this glider, you can see they're already so far behind me. So now as we enter the little spiral, we just stay close to the wall or just turn really tightly. And then we reach this opening, and we use our mushroom in this dirt path here, and we do it 2 more times. So we get on the rail, keep on tricking. You don't have to trick so much, but I recommend trying to jump onto the other rail a little early, actually, because it makes it a bit easier. Then you regular trick off of that one. Don't trick to a certain side, it'll slow you down. And then over here, try to be careful with which one, because I almost get hit right here. And now we are heading to the spiral, and they're even further behind than last time. Stay close to the wall as you're turning. Turning really tightly, just drifting as close as you can to the edge is going to be a very common thing in this video, because that's the best way to save time. And as you can see, we're already 5 seconds ahead. So now we do the trick again, get onto the chain, jump a little early. And then on this rail, don't trick to the side and jump before you hit the straight. So jump on the turn. Does that make sense? And now we're here, we trick, get on the rail. Try to get two boosts if you can. It just makes it a bit faster. And then we go down the spiral for the final time on the 3rd lap. We're able to make mistakes because we're so far ahead, but even then, still try to do it well. Stay as close as you can. And then use our final mushroom over here. And wow, we have destroyed this race. Bam, first time trial completed. Now we're moving on to Guy Bazaar, and the main thing about this is drifting correctly and knowing which path to take, which I'm obviously going to show you. So in this very beginning part, I'm not going to drift at all. I'm just going to drive at my regular speed, and they're going to use their mushroom, which is going to get them a little ahead. We're going to take this rail, then trick to the right onto this ramp, and then take this top path. Now up here is a very tight turn, so don't be afraid to press B to avoid getting into the grass like I just did. Then try to avoid these pots, and do not go down in that down path or on that ramp over there, because we want to take the main path that's faster. Now this is the hard part. We want to jump onto this rope, jump off, and then get back on the main road. Now that's pretty much the only really hard part of this entire race. We're going to use our mushroom over here, trick as much as we can, and then we're going to do it again. Don't drift over here, and then we go into this rail. You can go to the stairs if you want, but I just like going on the rail because it turns for you. And then try not to hit that wall like I did, but it's okay. And then be sure to press B to don't go into the grass and avoid these pots. I hit one, but it doesn't actually slow you down that much, and we're far enough ahead to where it doesn't really matter. And you don't actually have to get on this rope, but I think it does save quite a lot of time. So, and I like doing it, so that's why I do it. And now it's time for our mushroom. Trick. This is honestly kind of an easy map once you get the hang of it. And we're going to do the same thing for the 3rd lap. Get on to this rail. And at this point, we can make a few mistakes and still be okay, because they're definitely not going to catch up. And that I also like that rope there because it's there for protection. And now you can take the regular path. And it's smooth sailing from here. You don't really have to do anything special. You can just drive. I choose to take the rope again because I like it. But Yeah, it's a pretty easy track, honestly. Just getting on that rope is probably the hardest part. And now we use our mushroom, and just like that, we have finished Shy Guy Bazaar's time trial. Now it's time for Desert Hills, which is a very easy course. You really only need to know where to use the mushroom and a few other tips, which I'm obviously going to show you. So the biggest thing about the entire thing to make it easy is to just stay close to the edge when you're drifting. I've said it already and I'll say it a million times in this video, but it saves so much time, and we just need to avoid all of the different flying things, and this should be pretty easy. So we just trick as much as we can over here, drift down here, and we're going to use our mushroom right here. It saves the most time, and now we can drift, and we're already almost 2 seconds ahead of them. That's wild. We're going to do the same thing each time, so it's not very exciting. That's going to be the thing for most of these, except just avoid those things. Take the tight turn, and then trick, trick, turn, and use our mushroom here. You can use it up here. I don't honestly really care because it's too easy. Like, it doesn't really matter, honestly. But I like using it back then because it just feels better, honestly. It's a bit easier because you don't really have to turn. And charge that mini turbo and go around this way. And as you can see on the map, they are way behind us, so we don't really have to worry about anything. And now we drift and use our final mushroom over here in lap 3. I'm going to use it a bit ahead just to show you what it looks like. And just like that, we have won. Very easy, like I said, but the next few are not going to be as easy. Now it's time for one of the hardest time trials, which is Bowser's Castle. There's a lot of fast racing and hard turns in this, so I'm just going to walk you through it. So first off, you want to trick off of both of these ramps, and then hold the drift really tight around these walls. Don't really try to get the coins, you can if you want. And then trick up here, and drift around here, and you should be a bit ahead by now. And just follow the movements I'm doing, and you should be fine. And as you can see, they're already pretty far behind us. And up here, it's going to get a lot faster, as you can see, but we're just gonna drift, avoid that geyser, and trick. And we're gonna use our first mushroom up here to take this shortcut. It can be a little hard to control, so it may take some time. Then stay left to avoid that meteor, then hold in, and then stay to the right to avoid the other meteor if you need to. And so we're starting off lap 2 seconds ahead, and we're going to do the same thing each time, but the opponent is actually going to take the shortcut up here. But don't worry, because you shouldn't get too far behind. You actually might even stay ahead. And it's good because you have 2 mushrooms and he only has 1, because you're going to take the better shortcut. So up here, we're going back into the super fast section. We're going to take a very sharp turn up here. Try to hold it for the orange mini turbo. And now we can take our shortcut again. And as you can see, we are quite far ahead. Now, make sure to avoid the meteor, so we're going to stay left if you didn't get there in time. And now we're going to stay right, or try to avoid the one that was about to hit us. Now we're going to start lap 3, 2 seconds ahead again, take the very sharp turn, and again. And we're just going to repeat this process. You can collect the coins if you want. It's not a super big deal. It does give you a bit of speed. Now try to avoid that little lava pit, because those creatures will probably hit you if you're doing the same thing I am. And now we take this turn. We're about to go to our next shortcut up here, and this will be our last mushroom. And it's pretty simple once you get used to it, but it can be pretty difficult to get everything 3 times in a row without, messing up a turn or a mushroom or something. So that's why this is one of the more difficult ones. It was definitely kind of hard for me to figure it out. But now you have completed the Bowser Castle's time trial. Now it's time for Wario Stadium, which is definitely one of the hard ones. It's a very tight race. You're going to be close to Waluigi most of the time, but just make sure that you stay very close to the edges when you're drifting, and you just try to stay ahead as much as you can. Trick, don't be worried if he gets ahead of you. That may happen. It's fine. You can probably still beat him. And now we turn very close and try to trick as much as we can off of these. Try not to hit the wall. It does take away some time. And now we turn in and we stay on the right side just because it's a bit easier. We're going to use our mushroom up here. Try to use the mushroom very tightly because it can be a little annoying or slow if you don't. And then just stay very close on this turn. Waluigi will take that shortcut, but you can actually stay ahead of him. Don't be afraid if you're actually behind at lap 1. You can just get ahead. Do these tricks again. You don't need to get on the wall or do any of the rails like in the world record or any of that, because they're not actually necessary, but they can make it a lot faster. So now as we go into here, it's okay if they get ahead of you. Just make sure to stay very tight on your turns and take the paths I do, because it will help you win. And like, that is a great example of the shortcut because it's very tight and it doesn't waste a lot of space. Same thing with up here. We just need to turn as tight as we can, and that should help us end the second lap a bit ahead, around a second probably. Yeah, just under. And now we do it all again. Take the tight turn. That was kind of bad, honestly. I did waste a little bit of space in that turn, but it's okay. We're still ahead. We're going to take this path again. Just trick on as many of these as you can, and you should end up ahead. Again, this is a pretty hard one, so don't feel discouraged if you don't get it first try. It definitely took me a while to get all of these 3 times in a row. So now we enter the final stretch, quite ahead of Waluigi actually, and now we can turn around, end it, because he won't take the shortcut, so should be good. And just like that, you have finished the Wario Stadium time trial. Now this is probably one of my favorite tracks. It's Mario Bros. Circuit, and it's pretty simple. We're going to start off by using a mushroom to the left. Aim right between the gap in those tires, and you should land on the rail. And this is going to save a lot of time in the turn. Then we're going to right trick onto the road, and we're already pretty far ahead. Get onto this rail, and then trick to the left once you finish turning, just to save time and be as tight as possible. Now we go around here. Now you don't have to turn as sharply as I do. I just like to do it for fun. And now up here, we're going to take the path on the right. So we're going to trick down, trick, go on the glider. And up here, you can get on the rail on the left if you want, but it can be a little difficult, so I just prefer not to. We're going to do the same shortcut again, just aim between those 2 tire stacks where the gap is. Right trick onto the road. It's okay if you scrape the dirt. Again, we have a lot of leverage, so it's okay if we mess up or if we bump or something. Just try not to fall off on this turn, which is why you might not want to turn as hard as you can, because it is likely that you will fall off. Then we again take the path on the right, go on the glider, and I mean, we're so far ahead that it doesn't really matter what we do. I mean, we're 5 seconds ahead. So we just go on the rope. We just go on the rail. Sorry, again. Go on this one. Trick to the left. Drift. And you're all set up for winning the race. Just stay tight here. Don't go out too far, because it could lose you a lot of time. Stay on the right. I mean, at this point, the path we take doesn't matter too much, but just to save time and to make sure that Mario doesn't get too close, we go this way, and we have successfully beaten the Mario Bros. Circuit time trial. So now it's time for Whistle Top Summit, which can get a little difficult, so it may take you a few tries to get used to some of the tricks that we do. So we start off with the boost, turn to the left, and turn to the right. And we want to get onto these rails and just trick what as we can, try to get some speed going forward. And then we turn around here, we don't take that shortcut. And we try to take a very sharp turn around here. So up here is very important. Once we reach that third little metal thing on the side, we trick to the right to land on this rail, get off of the wall, and then down here, this is where we use our shroom to burst through those boxes. And then we take this rail on the left, get onto the yellow one, trick to the right on here, just try to take a very sharp turn. And we trick as much as we can, turn around here as well as up here, try to stay very tight. Now we get on the rail, and again, on the third metal thing, we trick to the right. I would recommend doing it a little early because that seems like a better way to time it. And then we shroom through here, and we're already so far ahead. I mean, yeah, 5 seconds is crazy. Trick to the right, land on here. Keep on tricking as much as you can. Just go through these rails. Again, just try to get as far ahead as we can. And we are far enough ahead to where we can afford to make some mistakes, you know, take a few loose turns or bump into some things. And so, I'm going to do it a little early this time. And you don't really have to do the trick off of the wall here, but I just like to do it because it is fun and it does save time. We use our mushroom, and just like that, we have beaten the Whistle Top Summit time trial. Honestly, one of my favorite ones. It's very fun once you get the hang of it, so there you go. Now it's time for Bones Burnout, which is probably one of the harder ones. It does have some weird shortcuts that are honestly really fun when you get used to them, but can be a little tricky once you start. So we're just going to take the regular path at the beginning. Stay on the down path, not the one on the right, because it's faster. And if we just stay as close as we can to the edge, we should be able to do this pretty well. Trick, trick, and then trick again, turn in, and this is one of the few difficult parts. We're going to try to get onto this rail on the left, like that, bam. And then we're going to trick to the right, then stay on this top path as long as we can until we get to here, and then we're going to trick onto the wall, ride the wall, but don't trick off of it, instead do it in the air, and then use our mushroom in this lava over here. And that's the best shortcut that you can take. Honestly, it's not too difficult, but it can be a little strange at first. Remember to stay as inside as you can while drifting, and they are going to take the slower path, which they're definitely going to pay for because we're going to turn out to be quite far ahead. So we can, of course, afford to make a few mistakes, but we're going to take the same general path. We're going to get onto this rail, which it can be a little hard to align with, if I'm being honest. But honestly, practice makes perfect, if you know what I mean. Now we're going to do the same trick. Remember, don't do a trick on the wall, but rather after you get off in the air, and then use your mushroom on the lava part. So entering the third lap, we're obviously going to do the same. We're about 4 seconds ahead, which is very nice. Gives us a lot of leeway to do what we want. And you can collect those coins if you want to. It's not super important. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to trick, trick, stay on the right, and then drift down here. Get on the rail, and then repeat that little shortcut up there. And up here, you don't need to trick, you don't need to boost from the drift and off of the ramp, but you can if you want. Then we're going to do this trick. This, honestly, I really like it. It's not that hard and it looks super cool. So we've done that, and just like that, we have won the Bones Burnout time trial. Now it's time for Toad's Factory, which is one of my favorite races, and it's mildly difficult. I mean, there are a few tricky shortcuts, but it should be okay for most people. And remember, we want to turn as close to the wall as we can. Stay on the inside path, try to avoid getting hit by those crusher things. Grab this coin, trick, and then you can trick twice on each of these little carrier things, but it's okay if you don't hit all of them. Now, be sure to trick on the inside lane, no matter which direction it's facing. It's faster no matter what, even if it's going backwards. Now we're going to trick onto that crane, and then onto this one, and then use our mushroom down here. Now, that can be a little difficult, so you can take the bottom path if you want, or just keep trying. Honestly, I think it's not too bad. Then we go down here, and this is actually a time where I get off of that path in order to avoid it, which is completely fine. Then we trick over here, same thing up here, grab coins because it does actually make you go faster. Then up here we're going to go onto the first path even though it is going backwards. And now we are going to go back onto here. Trick. You can do a regular trick or a right trick, it works either way. Then use that boost panel, try to hit as many boost panels as you can. And we're already 5 seconds ahead, so we're doing pretty well. We don't need to be as picky as what we're doing. Then we drift, boost, and then try to trick as many times as we can right there. Again right here, and then we go to the right. Again, stay on the down path or whichever one is closest to the wall. And go into here, trick onto here. You can correct yourself midair if you need to, it's fine. And just like that, we have beaten the Toad's Factory time trial. Now it's time for Choco Mountain, and this is a mid difficulty one. It's not super hard, but it's not really easy either. You just need to know where to use the mushroom. So we're going to start off by taking a tight turn. Again, stay close to the edge. We're going to use our mushroom up here, like we're going to do in each lap. And just make sure that you hit the boost panel as quickly as you can, because you are going to get slowed down a bit at the end of the mushroom. And so now we just stay on the road, try to turn as tightly as we can. And they are pretty close behind us, but that's okay. We just need to turn as sharp as we can this entire time. Be careful for the rocks that sometimes fall off of the cliff there. They can hit you, it hurts. And now we just trick off of these, and we do it all over again. So we're starting off, just under a second ahead, and they used the mushroom there, but we're going to use it in here and try to make this tight so you can hit the boost panel to give yourself some speed. So now we're ahead of them, and we're just going to keep on turning, and we trick off of here. And after you trick off of that, try to get out of the mud as quickly as you can. Then get over here. And we turn over here, try to avoid those mud balls is what I'm saying, or those rocks, whatever. Turn here, stay close to the wall, obviously. Trick. And try to get as much boost as you can. And now we're over a second ahead, so we've obviously gotten farther. We're gonna boost over here with the mushroom, and now we just go straight through here, do the same thing we've done the past 2 laps. It's pretty simple, just sometimes the mushroom can be weird, or maybe the turning doesn't work the way you want it to. And we do the same thing we've been doing for the past few times. You can actually trick off of there, I found that. We turn through here, and I mean, we're already far enough ahead to where a few slip-ups won't really make a difference. And just like that, we have beaten the Choco Mountain time trial. Now it is time for Cran City, which is honestly not a great track. In my opinion, I don't really like it. but its time trial isn't that hard. It's fairly easy, so you know that's one thing good. That's one good thing about it. We take these coins, just stay close to the edge. We go through this little part. And honestly, the path you take throughout this doesn't matter a whole lot. You just need to make sure that you take turns, the right way, very tight. This is a little bit of a hard section, so it's okay if you don't get a boost on every turn. I didn't honestly not mean to hit the wall there, but it's okay if you do. Then we use our first mushroom through here. And we're already a tiny bit ahead. And on these straightaways, just, I don't know, try to get a boost. There's not much you can do. Maybe go on the rails. Avoid the cars, obviously. I almost got hit, gosh. And now we just drive it out. Starting the second lap, almost a half a second ahead. You could probably get faster than that, honestly, if you just, do the right boosts on the straightaways. Take all the boost panels that you can. It saves the most time. And take some tight turns, but be careful not to fall off, because there is no railing over here. And it is very annoying if you do fall. Just go through here. You can trick off of there if you got there quick enough. Turn through here. Don't try to go on the wall or do anything fancy. I mean, you can, but it doesn't really save that much time, and you don't really need to in order to beat the time trial. Trick off of here, grab the coins, and now we've started the third lap almost 2 seconds ahead, and now we are going to use our last two mushrooms. One of them up here, actually. I really like this shortcut. I don't know why. I just do. You can use the other mushroom right there if you want. I'm not going to, just because I'm going to use it up here, I believe. No. But yeah, right here. And if you do use it there, make sure to get onto that ledge in order to stay out of the grass. And we're pretty far ahead, so it's not super important if we mess up or anything. But that's how you win Cran City. It's pretty simple. Now it's time for a fun one, DK Spaceport. Now this one is probably a medium level difficulty. So we're going to start off by just taking both of these boost panels, or ramps. Then turn inside as close as you can to the edge, just like always. Do the same thing over here. Then hit both of these tricks. Grab a coin if you can. And up here, you can use a mushroom for the shortcut if you want. Just keep in mind that you only have 3. So I don't like to do it in the beginning, just so I can hold them off until the end. But if you do hold them, make sure that you start using them in the third lap. Just to save time and make sure you don't waste any of your mushrooms. Now we use the coin up here. I decided to use a mushroom on that one just because it's not super important. Just make sure that you don't use them too soon because you want to be sure that you still have the lead. For example, I'm not going to take it up here even though I obviously could. We're 3 seconds ahead, so it's pretty simple. Just make sure you stay on the rails up here. Try not to fall off. I think I just fell off. But try to stay on the rails for as long as you can. And, I should have used my mushroom right there. But now, actually don't go on any of the walls or any rails because it's faster to just take the ground level path. Now I'm going to use my mushroom up here to go through lap 6. And as you see, I have an extra because I didn't use one on lap 4, I think it was. So keep that in mind that you have 3. And, I mean, it was pretty simple. I'm going to use my last one up here, and that's how you win DK Spaceport. Now it's time for Acorn Heights, which is probably one of my favorite races. It's somewhat difficult. I'd say it leans more towards the hard side, but we're going to start off by drifting through here. Now actually don't go too close to the edge because you still want to hit both of the boost panels. Then you go onto this rail, jump to the other one right there. And now down here you need to make sure you take the right path. So I'm going to go onto there, trick, then land on here, and you want to take this vine, and trick to the right onto here. And this time, trick in the mid-air so you don't spend too much time in the air because it actually slows you down. Then you get onto this vine, left trick onto here, and then left trick again onto here. Now then you want to get out of that dirt once you trick off of it, but it's okay if you hit it. As you can see, we're 2 seconds ahead, so it's obviously not too big of a deal. You get back on the rail. Get right here, you want to get actually onto that rail on the right. It does save a tiny bit of time, but it's not, too big of a deal. Now, you can get onto this one if you want. I like to do it because it's kind of fun, but it doesn't, affect the time too much. Use the mushroom through here, all 3 laps. Try to get out of the dirt if you can. And now we trick to the left. I like to do it before I hit the coin because that's like a good sense of time. And we start lap 3, 4 seconds ahead, or almost 5, so it's not too big of a deal. Drift through here, get on to here, and because we're so far ahead, it's okay if we mess up a little bit. It's not going to affect us too much. We're going to take the same path that we've done the past 2 times. Try to get as many tricks as you can because it can be a little difficult. As you can see, I did just mess it up, but it doesn't affect anything too much. Just try to take the same path that you did on the first 2 laps because that is the best way to go. Get onto this vine, trick onto here, trick onto the next vine, and then now you have finished Acorn Heights time trial. Pretty simple, right? Now it's time for Mario Circuit, which is honestly kind of a weird one. You just really need to know where to use the mushrooms and you'll be good. But the drifts can actually get a little difficult. So we're just going to drive regularly down here. And then again, stay close to the edge while you're turning. Up here as well. And, this one isn't too difficult. Honestly, it's kind of easy if I'm being honest. And we're already, half a second ahead and we have to use the mushroom. And we're actually going to use 2 up here. And that saves just a ton of time. And now, baby Luigi has only 1 more mushroom than we do, so we're actually chilling. We just take these tight turns, and we're already almost going to go to lap 3. This is a very short race, and it's not too hard either. So we're about 2 seconds ahead. Nothing huge. Again, take these turns as tight as you possibly can, especially this one. It is kind of hard, so don't be surprised if you have to brake with B in order to take a tighter turn. And then we take this shortcut with our mushroom, and we end it off quite far in front, and that's how you do Mario Kart Circuit. Now it's time for Mumu Meadows, which is probably one of the easiest tracks to do time trials in my opinion. You kind of just drive forward. Up here we're going to take this turn, try to stay as close to the edge as you can, because that's really how you win this. You just stay close to the edge. We are going to take a shortcut up here. This is one of the 2 that I like to choose from. Obviously, I spent some time in the grass, which is not ideal. And now we can turn inside over here. And just drive through. If you can, trick off of these like mole things to save time. And yeah, not too complicated. Trick off of here, and now we start lap 2. As you can see, this race is pretty simple. So there's not much to it, just drift as well as you can. The cow shouldn't get too close to you, like the one that you're racing against. And I'm going to show you the other shortcut this time, the other one that works. Honestly, I think that one's a bit easier, like the one that I'm about to show you is. So we just shroom here, and bam, just like that. Not too difficult. Try to trick off of those little ground things if you can. And now we're about to start lap 3. I mean, a good few seconds ahead. Yeah, over 3 seconds. Now we're going to do the same thing we did each time. Obviously, I did just mess up there. Not great. But, I mean, it shouldn't worry too much because we're so far ahead that we can make those mistakes. That's the nice thing about all these time trials is that it's okay to make mistakes because a lot of times you're far enough ahead to where it does not matter. Of course, in an actual race, you wouldn't want to do that. And now we jump. And we're about to finish. I'd say around 2 seconds ahead. Not too difficult, as you can see. And bam, that's how you do the Mumu Meadows time trial. Now it's time for Peach Stadium. I'd say this is a medium tier difficulty. Honestly, it's actually a bit easier, if I'm being fully honest. And so we're gonna start off by taking this shortcut with a mushroom. This is honestly one of my favorite tracks. It's just really cool looking, and I like these boost panels up here. We're going to take the bottom path. Just stay as close to the edge as you can. Same with up here. Just try to stay close to the edge. And up here, definitely turn as tight as you can. You can literally just hold the joystick to the right and to get that rainbow mini turbo. And now just snake through these pipes. Should be pretty easy. And I mean, we are so far ahead of Toadette. It is wild. And so now we just keep going. Yeah, we're almost 6 seconds ahead. It's wild. We take the shortcut again. Try to avoid those tires. It just gives us a bit of a guide of how to turn. Take these boost panels for some extra speed. And I mean, it's a pretty simple track, honestly. Just need to get used to it. Try to stay as close to the wall as possible. There's not much really to do. Just avoid the pipes. And now, I mean, we're even further ahead than we were before. Honestly, I'd say this is also one of the easiest. I know I started off by saying it was medium, but it's honestly really not. I mean, we're almost 10 seconds ahead. That's crazy. Use our mushroom. Take the same path that we've done the last 2 laps. Get these boost panels. You can try to stay on the inside if you want, but it doesn't make too much of a difference. Try to stay out of the grass. And again, always try to stay on the inside. Now we can just snake through here. We don't really have to worry with Toadette catching up because we're so far ahead. And get out a rainbow mini turbo here. And just, you know, go in between those first 2 pipes and end off the race very far ahead. And that's how you do Peach's Castle. And now it's time for Rainbow Road, which is obviously one of the coolest races in the entire game. It is quite long. It's like just under 4.5 minutes, and it's relatively easy, honestly. Like I said, it's pretty long, so there are a lot of opportunities to go fast, and there are a lot of opportunities to fall off and also go slowly. So we're just gonna stay close to the edge at the beginning because there's not a lot of options. We just have to stay ahead of Peach. And obviously there are 4 laps and none of them are the same, so it's not like you just go in a loop. So I'm going to show you like when to use the mushrooms on which laps. Try to get all of the tricks here. It's okay if you miss the first one, but it does save time to get all 3. Same here. Because there are both a lot and also not a lot of opportunities to get tricks. So I go to the left here. It's not super important which path you choose in this one, but I just like going to the left. And then right here we're going to drop off of the edge down here. And there are a lot of like random tricks that you can do, like especially in the world record. But we're not going to do those. We're going into the water section in lap 2, and this lap we're going to use our first mushroom. Get up here, and try to get the second boost. And so, we jump over here, and then right here we're going to use a mushroom to get onto this ramp. So, bam, and that just is one of the few mushroom shortcuts in the race. Also, I just want to point out that I really like this Rainbow Road. It's definitely not as, I guess, fast or really invigorating as some of the other Mario Karts, but it looks absolutely amazing. So we're just going to stay on this one path the entire time. And the music is great too. And there's not much really we can do other than stay close to the edge. I mean, we're 2 seconds ahead going into lap 3. Now we're entering the space station thing. And this is where we're going to use our next mushroom, actually. Now, up here, the path that we choose, obviously here, we're going to use this ramp. But I feel like both left and right here are good options, but I just choose right because it's a bit easier. It's not as complicated, and I mean, it gets the job done. That's what we're here to do. Just avoid these thwomps and try to stay as close to the edge as possible. There's not a lot of places to lose time here, other than the turns, obviously, but try to get as many tricks as you can on these ramps. Maybe even use the rails on the side. But we are like a second and a half ahead, which isn't a ton, but I mean, what can you really do? Try to hit all 3 of those. Also, they're not super important, but it is better. So I like to choose the right. I feel like it's better. And then stay close to the edge. And up here, I like to actually cut in out of the boost panel for a second to get that shorter turn, because you actually keep the boost for a bit. But try to hit all of the different boost panels. And as you can see, we're pretty far ahead of Peach now. And now we're entering the final stretch of, honestly, an amazing race. Like, this map is so cool. And now, yeah, we're going to use our first mushroom up here, but you can use it in any of the grass sections that, like, slow us down, like right here, for example. I just use it there because I feel like it makes the most sense. But you can use it how you want it. Like right there, for example. But yeah, that is how you win Rainbow Road in the time trial. Great map. That's how you do it. Now it's time for Koopa Troopa Beach, which is another very easy map. It's pretty simple. You just need to use your mushrooms in the right space, and I mean, you just need to turn as close as you can to the grass. Just make sure not to enter it so you don't slow down. You want to use your mushroom around there in that grass section. That saves the most time. And obviously there are 5 laps, so you can't use a mushroom in all 5. But you can just do them in whichever laps you feel like are best. So try to hit all of the boosts that you can. Like, obviously, it's kind of hard to lose on this one, as long as you just drive close to the edge. It is also a pretty short track, so there's not a ton to do. Obviously, I'm only at 1 mushroom because I used 2 of them in the first 2 laps, but it's not even that important, and now I'm out, so I'll just drive on the regular road for the next 2 laps. It's not super important because it's not like he's going to catch up anyway. This time trial is, like I said, pretty easy. Not a lot to worry about. Try to trick off of these bumps in the road. And now entering our 5th lap, we're already 4 seconds ahead, so not a ton to worry about. We can, afford a few mistakes maybe. I trick off of that. And now entering the final stretch. Not a ton to do, but yeah, that's how you beat the Koopa Troopa Beach time trial. Now it's time for personally one of my favorite races, Boo Cinema. And we're going to use the mushroom at the very start in this little shortcut up here. Just take like that. Try not to spend too much time on the off-road because there is a good chance it will slow down. So you got a trick right there and stay close to the edge when you're turning. And get straight through here. And it's just important to stay on this little section of road, but don't stay for too long so you fall off the track. Be sure to return to the main road. But yeah, just hold close as much as you can. We're already pretty far ahead. This isn't a super hard race, honestly. You can trick there and right there. And we're going to use another mushroom for the shortcut. I mean, it's going to be the same as the last lap for lap 2 and 3. You can go on that rail on the right if you want to. I don't really do it because it can be annoying to get onto and it doesn't really save that much time. Now we get to the left, stay, and then return to the main road. And obviously this is one of those races where the way to win it is just to take really tight turns, you know. And try to trick as much as you can. Stay close to the wall here. Don't go on the rail. It actually, it does not save time. And we're already 6 seconds ahead, so there's not a lot for us to worry about. I mean, we can mess up a few times and still be good. We're out of mushrooms because we used the last one on the shortcut there. Now we're just going to do the same thing and stay close to the edges. Try not to lose too much ground. I really like the design of this track, and I did mess up a little there, but it's okay because we're so far ahead. And in the final stretch, you just got a trick right there. See, I missed it, but it's fine. Trick right there, and just like that, you have completed the Boo Cinema time trial. Now it's time for Dandelion Depths, which is, I don't know, it's an alright race. It's pretty easy, if I'm being honest. You just need to know which path to take and where to use the mushroom. Obviously, stay close to the edges. It's okay if they're really close to you in the beginning. You'll eventually outrun them. So drift here, trick, and we're not going to use our mushroom in this shortcut. We're going to keep it, then turn around here, and stay on the inside. Stay pretty close as much as you can. Trick as much as you can in this water part. Right here, obviously. Trick, trick, trick. And use these boost panels. Try not to turn too much because you don't want to waste space. And you're going to use your mushroom here to save space on that turn. Yeah, and we're already 2 seconds ahead. Trick. Trick again. Oh, I missed it. It's alright. We could go down here. And we're just going to do the same thing we did in lap 1. Obviously, skip or don't take the shortcut here. Don't use the mushroom. Turn until we reach the water. And if you didn't know, every time you trick into water, you can actually get a second trick when you come up, like you see me doing here. Like I said, this map is pretty easy. There's not a ton to do. So we are going to use another mushroom here. And we are 4 seconds ahead. So that's nice. We're able to, you know, mess up a few times if we need to. Maybe not take the sharpest turn possible. Which is nice about a lot of these. You know, we don't have to be super picky about everything because we can win a lot of them while still making a few mistakes. And like, see, I just drove on the road there, but I'm still pretty far ahead, so it's not a big deal. Trick like in the water, get off of there, Now we're entering the final little area. We're going to use our last mushroom in the same spot we always do up here. So yeah, pretty easy course, but that's how you do Dandelion Depths, Dandelion Falls, I don't know, in time trial. Now it's time for a difficult race, actually fairly difficult. Cheap Cheap Falls. This can be kind of annoying, especially in the water part. But in the beginning, just be sure don't turn. You don't really need to. Just collect those coins for the speed, and then take a sharp turn here. And don't get on the rail to the left. At first, I thought it was quicker, but it actually isn't. Turn over here. Stay as close as you can to the edge. And trick as much as you can in here. It's okay if you miss a few. And we're going to use our mushroom right here. Don't drift until now. And then we use the mushroom. Be careful of any fish that you might run into. And the reason why we take that one is because the one right here that I'm driving by right now is actually kind of hard, if I'm being honest. Like, it's a little difficult. And so it's okay if they're pretty close to you, or even if they're ahead of you, because we are going to get a lot faster than them soon. So we take this path, obviously. Drift. Like always. And we're going to do the same thing from lap 1 in lap 2. Try to get the most tricks, like right there. Try to avoid those cheap. They can be a little annoying, so you might have to restart if you hit them. One trick you can do is to stay on the side because they don't spawn there. And honestly, this turn can be a little difficult. Like, you can run into the ground like I just did there. So try not to do that. Be aware of that. And now we're just going to repeat the process. It's pretty simple, but it can be a little hard at first. Like, it especially was for me. It took me a while to figure it out. But in this last lap, we're going to get pretty far ahead. So we're going to do the shortcut just like last time. Drift, mushroom. It's okay if you don't get like a full boost or keep all of your momentum there. And as you can see, we are quite far ahead of that Cheap. So now that is how you win the Cheap Falls time trial. Now it's time for probably one of my favorite races in the entire game, Away Oasis. Now I am going to do a shortcut in here that is a little difficult, but it's actually not too crazy. I feel like most people can get it fairly easily. So we're going to stay close to the edge on this one. Try to get a rainbow mini turbo. And then up here we're going to land on the rail. And at the end we're going to left trick right now. And then we're going to trick off of that wall. And then jump before you exit. And then trick out of the water onto that. It is a little difficult, but you can get it. And then we trick onto here. Now on the next 2 laps I'm going to explain different parts of it a bit more, so you can pay attention. And we're going to use our mushroom around here. Not a great mushroom on my part, honestly, but we're still 3 seconds ahead, so it's fine. So now we just have to stay as close to the edge as possible. Just try not to fall off. And then up here we're going to do it. I find it easiest to get onto that rail by doing this. And you don't actually have to go into the wall like I did. It just does save a bit of time. Now when you jump onto here, you're going to trick to the left in the middle of that segment of the rail, if that makes sense. Yeah. It's better to do it late than early, because you still want to land on the platform. And then we're going to use another mushroom. And we're 4 seconds ahead, so it's okay if we mess up a little. It doesn't matter too much. Jump. And now we're going to do it all again. You can trick there if you want. Go into there. And now we go back on. and trick to the left. Again, it's better to do that later than earlier because you'll still land on that rail on the side of the top platform. And now we're ending it with our mushroom. And bam, that is how you do the time trial for Away Oasis. A great track. Now it's time for Dino Jungle. A pretty cool race, honestly. It really just matters where you use your mushroom in order to beat this time trial. Obviously, stay close to the wall when you're drifting. That is a very tight turn, so be sure to know that. You don't actually need to drift here. You can if it helps. But now we go through the middle, and they've actually already used a mushroom, so that means we're technically in the lead. I mean, even though we're ahead of them. So we're going to use our mushroom here. It's the best place to use it. Trick as much as we can in these parts. Trick here. And then turn. That's like the pretty easy version of the map. We're already pretty far ahead. Try to avoid the water because I hit it and it did slow me down. You can go between that guy's legs. And you can try to drift here. It is a little hard. Like I did just mess up there. Touch the grass. Crazy, I've never touched grass before. But here we are, turn into here, and then we're going to take the same shortcut. So we're going to use the mushroom here. Trick. And we're only on our second lap. It's okay. Like right there, try not to hit the water. So we're 3.5 seconds ahead, so we're doing fine, honestly. You can just go between the legs of the T-Rex when you're drifting. And always take the right path, it's faster by a very good margin. And now we take the shortcut. And we are very far ahead of Baby Rosalina. So, finishing in the third lap, pretty simple. Hit the trick right there, and that is how you beat the time trial of Dino Jungle. Now let's go to Starview Peak, a pretty cool map. The main thing here is just knowing where to go on the road, because there are a few choices that you have to make, but other than that, it's pretty simple. There aren't many places to use a mushroom. And then we go in here. Always take the innermost route. And we're not going to use a mushroom there. It does not save a ton of time. Try to hit all of these little snowflake boost things. We're going to use our mushroom here. And try to hit that ramp if you can. I don't think I did. Go through here. And again, try to hit as many of these as you can for the boost. And we're already ahead, which is nice. So we're ahead by about a second. And bam. We drift along here. And then always stay close to the edge. And Rosalina's pretty far behind us, so we don't have to worry a ton. Just get through these snowflakes. Take the mushroom here. And then take the boost. It's a pretty easy track. Like, we're already pretty far ahead. Yeah, by 3 seconds. Just wild. So, take the sharp turn. And then do that again. There aren't many, like, crazy shortcuts in this map. It's not super difficult. And now we're going to use our final mushroom here. and take the boost into the snowflake boost thing. I think I might have missed it, but that's okay because we have a lot of ground between us and Rosalina, so it's okay if we make a few mistakes here and there. And bam, that is how you win the time trial for Starview Peak. Now it is time for DK Pass, kind of a mild track, honestly. There is one mildly hard shortcut that you can mess up a few times, so you might have to restart if you don't get it. It's just up here, but just take this, drift, and right here you want to trick off of that pole. Don't try to like go in a certain direction because that might make you fall off. Just go straight to the pole and over the gap. It saves actually a few seconds, I'm pretty sure, maybe 1 or 2. Don't go on that rail. Obviously we're not going to do the tricky turn. Try to stay out of the snow, unlike I just did. And up here we're going to use our mushroom to take this little turn. Just like that. And bam, we are pretty far ahead. We are a second and a half ahead. Pretty simple course except for this one little shortcut up here, which is honestly one of my favorite in the game. It's so simple, but it's also super fun. You don't really have to do a ton of work to avoid those snowballs, but you can if you want. And bam. You don't have to do a trick on every single one, but it can help you turn better. Then we're going to use our second mushroom in the same spot as last time. Just boost through there, and yeah, we're 2 seconds ahead, so we are chilling. We don't have to worry too much about the perfect turns or anything. We can just take this shortcut. Honestly, so cool. Try not to hit the pole like dead on because you might go too low. So you might want to hit it at the side and just do a neutral trick. And we boost again and again, or I think I missed it. And there you go. Just like that. We're going to use our final mushroom here. And just like that, we have won the time trial for DK Pass. Now let's move on to Salty Speedway. Kind of an in-the-middle track. I would say it leans more towards the hard side, honestly, because of the water. So we start off with a boost. Just go regularly. And then we drift here. It's okay if Birdo actually gets a bit of a lead in the beginning. You just need to stay out of the water also. Try to trick on the inside but stay out of the water. Then we boost through here. Go through that pavilion. And it's actually okay if, they get ahead right there because they actually use their mushroom. So we have 3 and they have 2. So we're technically in the lead because we're about to take the best shortcut that you can up here. So just drift and then use your mushroom. Stay pretty close to the wall. And you don't need to do too much to win here. It's just, not messing up, especially on the water. I do not like the water in this game, I'm being honest. It's very detailed, but it can be kind of hard to drive on, if I'm being honest. So we boost up here. Cut through here. And then try not to clip the grass like I did. And then you can drift through there. So yeah, it's pretty simple course, honestly. Maybe not as hard as I said it was. Yeah, we use our mushroom there. And now we start lap 3, a second and a half, almost 2 seconds ahead of Birdo. So we are chilling. Now, always stay out of the water. It does actually slow you down. and boost through here. Now you're gonna take a turn right there in order to get the boost and maneuver the best possible way. They are a bit close, but we're gonna take the shortcut, which will help us take the lead. And bam, just like that, we beat the time trial for Salty Speedway. Now for a very interesting one, Great Question Block Ruins. We're going to start off with the shortcut actually. This is fairly hard. Honestly, it might take a bit of practice, but you can probably get it at some point. We're going to drift through here, use a mushroom, and then use our drift to boost us onto this pipe, which will let us jump onto here. And there we go. Now we can turn through here. And we're not going to take the crazy shortcut like in the world record, okay? We don't need to do that. We can just go here, drift through here, and simply get to the other side. Try to trick as much as you can in most places. And we're already pretty far ahead of Lakitu. So there are a few ways you can take that shortcut. You can take it very sharp or a bit less. I like it a bit less. It just feels easier for me. But yeah, make sure that you use that boost from the drift once it turns orange, so you can get onto that rail in order to jump. Because if you don't get onto that rail, honestly, you'd probably have to restart the race, because you'd be pretty far behind. So yeah, we're just cruising in the lead. Not too hard. I mean, we're pretty far ahead, so it's not too big of a deal. And in the third lap, we're just going to do the same thing with the same shortcut. And now we take this way and we use our boost to get onto this rail so we can take that sharp turn. And boost. There we go. We don't have to take any of the special, shortcuts or anything. Just a pretty simple race, honestly. I really like this map. This is honestly one of the greatest, shortcut maps. If you know what I mean. If you've seen the world record, you'll know that it's insane. We're even further ahead than last time. And just like that, we have won the time trial for Great Question Block Ruins. Now it's time for Sky High Sunday, which is honestly kind of an easy track, but you do still need to know which way to go in order to win. So we're going to start off by going through the hoop. I don't think you really need to do it. I just like doing it. Don't go on the rail. Just stay low. And then as you drift, use your mushroom and then trick off of here onto this rail. And then left trick before you reach the very top of the rail. You're going to stay on the left or the right. I mean, they're pretty identical, so it's not super important. Just try to get as many tricks as you can in. And this is the only hard part. You're going to drive off onto the wall. Now make sure you don't go too low, but also not too high. See, that was a little too high because I didn't reach the ramp that allowed me to get an extra boost. But I still managed to get ahead by a second. So now we do the same thing all over again. We use our mushroom here. We boost, get on this rail, and then left trick onto the ground. Use this boost panel. Boost a few more times. And then get onto here, where we can do the shortcut once again. It is honestly kind of simple once you get the hang of it. Just try to stay fairly low so you can get that ramp. See, I didn't get it that time, but I'll try it on the third lap. And I mean, we're already 3 seconds ahead, so we're chilling. We can afford, messing up a few times, which is nice. Of course, I never mess up, ever. And so now we try to get onto the rail, which I did, obviously. because I never mess up. And then we boost off of here, get this ramp. We're just going to go this way, and then we boost off onto here, and now it's time to go here. So we get pretty low, which allows us to get onto this ramp, and bam. That is how you win the time trial in Sky High Sunday. Pretty easy, honestly. Now it's time for Wario's Shipyard. Now, this one is honestly one of the hardest time trials, if I'm being honest. It is pretty complicated, and there are a few shortcuts that you need to take that might take a bit of practice to get used to. Now it's time, we're going to take this boost panel onto the wall, and then boost off, and then get this trick right there. And that's just going to help us get some speed. Choose either one of the boost panels, honestly. Try to get as many tricks in the water as you can. Now, I'm going to try to get onto this pipe, but I failed. It's okay. We're still probably going to be able to get past it. We're going to use our mushroom here. And you want to try to take the left path, because it's easier in order to take this super tight shortcut. And even though we messed up on that trick back there, we're still going to be able to get into the lead because of that turn. Now, we're going to get onto this rope, onto here, and then we're going to turn. That's probably some of the hardest parts, but yeah, it's definitely not easy. We're 2 seconds ahead, but you still need to do pretty well each time. Boost off. See, this time I'm going back in the middle, and now we take the drift, and this time try to boost onto the pipe. And if you make it trick over there, and now we can get this shortcut faster, actually. Now, I did not perform it super well either time, so hopefully I'll get it well on the third time, and you can just see it from there. So now we are going to take the same path as last time. Ooh, I did miss that rope, but it's okay. And it's okay if they're ahead of you, because you can just take that, stay really close to the edge the entire time and you win. Like I said, it's basically cheating. I mean, you're just driving on a shorter course than they are when you do that, which is super nice. So now I'm going to take the left path. And now I'm hopefully going to show you how it's supposed to be done. So you drift, you jump onto the rail, and then you left trick onto there. Or the other tree it's fine either way. And then we boost onto here using our mushroom, and then we turn tight in order to get over here. And now we're going to go back onto the pole like we did in the first lap, and on the second, or not, maybe, I guess. And now we jump back onto the road, and we win Wario's Shipyard. It can be a little difficult, so just practice those shortcuts, and I'm sure you'll get it. Now, finally, our last race is Peach Beach, which is, I'd say, fairly easy. It's not too hard to complete. You just need to know when to use the mushrooms, like most of them. So I'm just going to teach you how to do that today. So we're going to use one pretty early on, right here. This will help us get an early lead. Baby Peach does not take a great route, I'm being honest. So that's kind of a freebie for us. Now we take this very tight turn. And again here, we're going to save our 2 mushrooms actually. And now as we enter lap 2, just be sure to turn very sharply again, like right here. Bam. And again right here. And now we're actually just going to stay on the ground level. We're not going to go anywhere. Just going to stay here. And then as we drift, we can mushroom through there. And then boost through here. And bam. Okay, now we're on the glider section. You're going to go onto this panel right here. And on the rail. And then boost off. We're going to do it again, and we are pretty far ahead, honestly. not too much to worry about here. We're going to use our final mushroom. Don't drift, because it's actually just a straight line, which I did not realize the first time I did it, and I ran straight into the wall. So hopefully you won't have to suffer that same fate. So turn right there. Try to avoid these, but it's okay if you hit them, or both of them, like I just did. And then trick off of here. Turn. And bam, that is how you beat the time trial for Peach Beach. That was our last one.